see how easily you can plug your gas furnace into a generator today to keep your family warm and safe in a power outage. Hey, this is episode 2 out of 5. So episode 2 out of 5. In this episode, or segment, or whatever you're going to call it, this is the second one out of 5. You're going to learn a quick reminder of what to expect during a complete training. We're going to go over safety. That's important as you're working on this to make this work. How to access your furnace, how the electrical works for your furnace. We're going to also look at the electrical. We're going to start to disassemble the electrical part to actually make it work. And then we're going to do some testing, the electric testing, and we're going to talk about the strategy moving forward. So welcome to episode 2, and let's get started. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually make sure that the power is turned off for the furnace at the breaker box. Okay, I'm down here by the breaker box. It happens to be in our basement, but it could be, in your garage or wherever. But we need to go to the breaker box and find the breaker that we need to turn off to safely work on the furnace. So I'll show you what I do. Okay, this is our breaker box. One of the very first things I do is, as an added safety precaution, is I'll get a piece of tape and put on Sharpie with a Sharpie. Ask Dad. Okay. So then I open up the box and I'll search through the listings of the different switches and breakers and so forth. And I'm looking over here. Okay, here it is right here. Upstairs furnace. This happens to be the furnace that I have upstairs. It's on breaker 30. Okay. So we go down to the breakers and there's numbers on the side. I don't know if you can see them right there. You can see the 30. Okay, so we just go over here and we turn it into the off, put it in the off position. Okay, and then I'll get a piece of tape and I'll cover it up with the tape that says Ask Dad. That way somebody doesn't come along and turn it on before they ask me. Okay, so here it is with my piece of tape on it. It says Ask Dad. Okay, that's just a safety precaution, not required. Not necessary. If you're the only one that lives in the house, then you don't really have to worry about that. But if you live with other people, it helps. So I'm going to close this up. Hey, I have had some people say they didn't have the nice listing of all the breakers where they, what they go to. So in the event that you don't have that, you can actually just turn off the main and you'll know for sure that you've got everything turned off in the house. And I'll show you what that main looks like. So this is actually, the listing of all the different breakers and stuff here. You might not have a nice listing of breakers and stuff and what they go for. So all electrical boxes have what's called a main right here. So if you actually turn this off here, you'll turn everything off, and you'll be sure that everything is off. And then if you live with other people, put that piece of tape up there that says Ask Dad or Ask Mom. That way you know that somebody, if they go into it, they'll know to ask somebody before they actually turn the main back on. Now it's time to actually dig into the furnace and do the test before we take any wires off. Make sure that the power is in fact turned off. So I'm going to show you how I do it on this furnace. A lot of furnaces are similar, but every furnace is a little bit different on how you actually get into it. But I'll just show you how I do it on this one. Okay, this particular furnace has basically 2 doors or 2 covers on it. I've got a lower cover that has like little knobs that you can twist and release the lower cover. Once the lower cover is released, then the top cover can come off and then we can get to the inside. I'm going to attempt to do this while filming without a selfie stick. Okay, so I'm going to twist this, and I'm going to twist this. Okay, and it hinges out. You can pull it up and out. Okay, and then this top one. Some top covers are are pushed up and kind of a springy, up against a spring to hold it in place. This one actually has like a little tab right here. I don't know if you see that tab. Try to make it visible here. There, you can see it there. It's a tab that kind of holds it, keeps it from falling down. So basically, I just have to pull this out past that tab and then down. And be careful, the metal on these are very sharp. So just be careful not to cut yourself on the metal. Okay, now that we see the inside of the furnace, we also have the electrical box. This is the electrical box that leads into the furnace. And on the other side of this, there's another box right here where that electric goes into. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually remove this screw to open this box and test to make sure that the electric is turned off. So we'll go ahead and do that next. Okay, notice that screw has a slot shape. So I'm going to use the screwdriver here, and it has a symbol. Not all screwdrivers have these symbols on them, but looks like a little minus sign. If you think of, plus and minus symbols in mathematics, there's the tip. That's what it looks like. So I'm going to actually, if you've got the 10-in-1, because this screw has this shape, it's got like 8 sides. You can actually remove it if you have a 10-in-1 screwdriver also. Actually, I'm going to use my 10-in-1 to do this one. It's a lot easier to do while filming a video. Okay, so here's my 10-in-1 screwdriver. And I'm going to actually just take this tip off. Just slide this tip out. Okay. Put that on the ground. Oops, the whole thing came out. This is really cool because it's got the smaller part to take out smaller screws, and of course the base that you can take out slightly larger screws. So I'm just going to take the tip out, okay, and put the rest of it back in. So just slide that back in, okay. And this has that same shape, and it fits the screw that we need to remove. So I'm just going to take this up here, and I'll put it on this box. And not all furnaces have a screw right here. Some might have screws, on any side of this metal box to open it up. But this one happens to have one here. Okay, so we'll loosen this up. It's good enough to take out my hand. Okay, set that aside. I'm going to set it with my screwdriver and tip, so I'm going to leave it right there. Okay, the next thing is to open this box up. Okay, and now we see the wires. Okay, right now there are no exposed wires. Okay, and what I mean by exposed wires are, you can see metal. Now you have a black wire here. See the black wire? That usually carries the power. White wires are what's called neutral. Green wires are ground. And just bare copper like this. See how you've got this yellow cap? That's called a wire nut. That actually holds that exposed copper wire, that plain copper wire. It attaches those together so they're grounded. Usually in a bundle of 3 wires, you'll have a black, a white, and then just a plain copper one. Those are just ground. Those don't carry electricity. The main one you need to be concerned about is the black, secondary, possibly, very unlikely, the white. And that's why they still have that white and black coating on them to protect you. Okay. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just kind of pull these out of the box a little bit. Okay, so I pulled that the ground out, okay, and then this white one I'm going to pull out. And you pull it out by the cap. That's a safe way of doing it, okay? Okay, and there's the black one that doesn't have a cap, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to get our little tester. Okay, the black one that does not have a cap, white one with a cap, green one is ground, green one is ground with a cap, white one is neutral with a cap, and the black, in this case, does not have a cap. It goes directly into the switch on the other side of this furnace wall. It goes into this box, and we're going to be digging into that here in a few minutes. I'll show you where that goes. Now we're going to get our testing tool and just test and see if any of these wires carry and have any electricity in them. Just make sure we're extra and double, triple safe. Okay, we're going to actually test with the testing tool just to verify that those wires that I just showed you don't have any electricity in them, and it's safe to actually work on that. So I'll just show you how that works, and we'll go on from there. Okay, this is where we left off. We've got the green, that's ground. We've got the white is neutral. And that black wire back here, it doesn't have a cap on it. It goes actually in that hole and over to the other side where the switch is. And I'll show you where it comes through later. But right now, we're just going to test it real quick and make sure there's no electricity in there. So I got my contactless testing tool. I'm going to turn it on. Okay, green light is on, indicating it's working. It's got plenty of battery power. And I'm just going to put my tester by these different wires just to see if it turns red. It tells us that there's electricity in there, and it's not safe to work on. Okay, the main one we need to worry about is this black one right here. And you'll notice that it's not beeping, and it's green meaning it's safe. I love this tool. This just gives me a lot more confidence that I'm working safely. So that's how this testing tool works. And I'll go ahead and turn it off. And I feel confident that I can go ahead and dig in here and proceed with converting this over to run on generator power. Okay, now that I actually tested it and made sure with my contactless testing tool that there's no electricity in there, I feel confident that I can dig in and work on these wires safely. But we always need to be cautious when we're working with electricity or wires, as if they might have electric in them, just to be safe. You know, you don't want to go around and touching the bare metal, expecting it to be, perfectly fine. It's just a good practice to just avoid touching those bare metal ends, and I'll show you how I do that. So the next thing is we're going to go ahead and dig in and rewire this thing and make it so we can actually run this furnace with a generator. I need to actually take this box, this cover off this box here, and you'll notice that it's got slots, but it doesn't have a hex, hex heads, somewhat like this is. It doesn't have a hex head like this. It's got slots in it, so I have to get my regular screwdriver or the regular tip on my 10-in-1 screwdriver to take these screws out. There's the screw here and the screw here, and we'll be able to take this metal plate off. I'll have this 10-in-1 screwdriver. So I think I told you before, you notice how that's got like a, it's called a star tip. It's got like multiple points on it. We don't need that. We need one with a slot. So part of this 10-in-1 setup here is you can actually take this main part. See, there's a small part. There's actually the tip, then kind of a medium size piece that holds the tip, and then there's the main part. Well, you can actually take this main part right out of the handle. I'm trying to hold this with my knees, which can be a little challenging to do this. Getting it, I think. There we go. Okay, so it slides out. You have to give it's best to do it with two hands. So you pull this out, and on the other end, there are some more tips. And I'm just going to flip this back around and put it back in the handle. And you'll notice that this is the slotted tip. I love these 10-in-1 and multi-in-1 screwdrivers. Come in handy. All right, so we're going to actually go ahead and remove the plate on this. And Get started. Take the screw, unscrew it. And I don't think I explained to you why we have these boxes on the outside. It's pretty common that you have switch boxes on the outside of furnaces. And that's so if you have to go inside the furnace and work on it, you can just turn the power off right here at the switch and instead of having to go to the breaker box to turn it off. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually take the switch out of this box and we're going to put a plug in it. So we can plug our furnace into it and it'll run that way. And if we ever have to service it, we can just simply unplug it. That's kind of what the objective is. And that way we'll also have a plug that we can plug into an extension cord to run the furnace when our main power is not available. So I'm going to go ahead and finish taking this off, and then I'll show you what it looks like after I'm done with that. Hey, if you like what you've seen and it's brought value to you, please give generously to my Give, Send, Go link at the bottom of this page. Thank you very much.